Hi, I'm Rob.
And I'm Rob.
And this is Ask Rob and Rob.
Welcome to Ask Rob and Rob, where we are here to dispatch another 2 of your questions. And this week it's a stamp duty special. Oh yes, try to contain your excitement. We're going to get to those questions in just a second, but first let's have a quick reminder of how to send in your own.
Yeah, if you want to join the show and ask us exciting questions about stamp duty or anything else, you can call us on 013 808 0035. That's 013 808 0035. Or you can go to propertyhub.net/ask. That's exactly what Medassa's done, so let's have a listen.
Hey Rob and Rob, it's Medassa here. I am phoning up regarding a question to do with multiple dwelling relief. I'm in the process of buying 2 blocks of flats with a business partner. The blocks of flats are a block of 6 individually let apartments, so self-contained, and a block of 5 individually let apartments. So multiple dwelling relief, how does it work? So my understanding is that you can buy an apartment, you essentially split the cost of stamp duty against each individual flat, and you are able to reduce your stamp duty costs as a result of that. Can you please shed some light on this? Because I'm sure there'll be many people who won't be aware of multiple dwelling relief, as I'm not, and we obviously could reduce our stamp duty burden as a result of this. Any help would be much appreciated. Thank you.
All right, Rob, because this one sounds so easy, I'll let you take it.
Yeah, I must admit, I had to do a bit of research on this one. Not something I could just rattle off the top of my head, but I have done the reading, so hopefully I can help out Medassa and anyone else who is in this situation. Okay, so multiple dwelling relief applies to what are known as linked transactions. And there are different ways in which transactions can be considered linked, but the most obvious is where you're buying multiple properties from the same seller. Even if they complete at different times, if you're in the process of buying multiple properties from the same person, then they count as linked. If, on the other hand, you happened to be buying 10 properties at the same time and they all completed on the same day, but they were from 10 different sellers, then those transactions wouldn't be linked. All right, so hopefully you're with this so far. In a situation where you've got linked transactions, you can use multiple dwelling relief, which is a different way of calculating the stamp duty, which should, in most of the time, leave you better off. So to calculate multiple dwelling relief, you take the total amount that you paid for all the properties combined, you divide that by the number of properties that you've bought, you work out the tax due on that figure, and then you multiply it by the number of properties again. So what you're basically doing is working out stamp duty on the average price of each property. So if you run the numbers, you should find that by doing that and basing it off the average purchase price, you end up paying less stamp duty than you would if you paid on each of them separately. So that's multiple dwelling relief. If you're buying 6 or more dwellings though, and they're all linked, then you've got another option. You can, instead of using multiple dwelling relief, you can request that commercial rather than residential rates of stamp duty are used instead. Those commercial rates are lower, so again, it'll leave you better off. What you can't do though is combine the two. So if you're buying 6 or more dwellings, you can't average it out with multiple dwelling relief and then use the commercial rates. You've got to choose one or the other, and you do get the choice. So you can work it out using both methods and then elect to pay whichever is lower. Now, hopefully that all made sense, but as you'll have heard, it's not totally straightforward. And because the vast majority of transactions are just completely standalone, it's not something that solicitors will deal with on a daily basis. So if you are in this situation, make sure your solicitor is aware of the options that you've got. Make sure that they're doing the calculations and working out what you should be paying correctly, because if you end up overpaying because of their lack of knowledge, HMRC aren't kind enough to say, oh, you know what, you've paid us too much there, you could have some back. Doesn't work that way. You just end up overpaying. The good news, Medassa, is that you are clearly well on top of this, so you won't end up paying a penny more than you need to.
Next up, we've got another stamp duty question, but no name. So we'll call this person Stan Muty.
Hi guys, just a quick question touching on the question you had a couple of weeks ago regarding the stamp duty on keeping hold of residential property and buying a new property to live in. I know Rob mentioned that there is a chance you can claim that back if it's sold within a certain time frame. I didn't know this. I, like the lady mentioned before, paid quite a high figure, and we're just sort of wondering what the time frame will be on that to try to get the money back. Once again, thanks very much.
Thank you, Stan. And yes, we did answer that question a few weeks ago. I can't believe you want a bit of detail on that big picture concept. Okay, so luckily our research team, Rob D, has gone and found the answer to this, and we're all going to learn because we didn't know what the time frame was, and now we all do, and everyone listening will. You've got 3 years, so that's the limit. So if you're going to do this, if you're going to claim back that stamp duty that is painful to pay out in the first place, you've got 3 years to sell your other property. And if you want to get the form to claim that money back, just Google something on the lines of apply for a repayment of a higher rate of SDLT, and you'll find a form that you'll need to send off. So it can be done, but the clock is ticking. You've got that time frame to get it sold. And remember, listing a property doesn't achieve it. So don't wait till 2 years, 10 months to think, all right, I better sell it now. Give yourself plenty of time, because that can be a fair chunk of change you'll be able to claim back. If you do, meet the deadlines.
So thank you, Medassa. Thank you, Stan, for those questions. Next week, we'll be back to do it all again with some questions that will not all be about stamp duty. And before then, we'll see you back here for the Property Podcast on Thursday. Until then, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.